welcome back to my channel. I'll be talking all about my stretched ears and my journey to stretching to a 00. I started off at a 14 and just about a couple days ago I got to my goal size of a 00. My new goal size is now ½ inch and I'll probably do some videos about them in the future. Talking about everything I did to stretch my ears, everything I went through, my process, and I dropped one. So I still have my stretching kit. I think I'm just missing one size, which I've got somewhere else. But I've got all the other sizes here. So I started off at a 14. It was my first stretch. I remember I wasn't using these tapers. I was using acrylic ones, but I gave them to a friend. So I started off with just a 14 gauge. And now looking back on it, they're fucking tiny. And they're really cute. I really want to start stretching my thirds because I don't want to stretch my seconds since I'm going to go a bit bigger, but I do want to stretch my thirds once they're healed. Started off at a 14 and I stayed on a 14 for about a week and went up to a 12. Anyway, so I went up to a 12. My ears were quite fine until I got to about the 8 to 6 jump. So I stretched to a 10. That was all fine. But once I got to my first bigger jump, which was the 8 to 6 gauge, I wanted to die. So the problem is that these sizes are a millimeter, I think more than a millimeter jump. I can't remember, but they're like quite a big difference. Where is it? And it hurt like a motherfucker. I think I had swollen ears for about a week, and that was the first time I had irritation. I won't say a blowout because a blowout is completely different, but I started bleeding with that stretch. The next stretch was a 4 gauge. I don't really remember much of it, and I don't remember doing much with the smaller sizes, honestly. Got to a 2 gauge. That was my biggest stretch, and that's the longest stretch I was at. I stayed at a 2 gauge for quite a while, and I've got my sort of 2 gauge. I got my 2 gauge and a 0 gauge in the same packet, but I stayed at a 2 gauge for a while, and I got a shitload of jewelry for a 2 gauge, which they're in here. I was probably at a 2 gauge for a couple months, and then I wanted to stretch up to a 0, and that's when I started struggling. And my 0 gauge taper is just a really long one. I struggled because basically the 2 gauge to a 0 gauge is a 2 millimeter jump, and it's just too big to use a taper to put it through. What happened was I started using the tape method, which is essentially just tape that sticks to itself. And I did that for quite some time, probably about a couple weeks. And I didn't wait long enough with one of them, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to shove the taper through. And I got really bad irritation. It started bleeding. It was gross. On the other side, I tried to stretch with silicone, which is one of these in here. I ended up having to cut it open and take it out, and it was bleeding, so I ended up making both my ears bleed during the 2 gauge to 0 gauge thing. So then I waited for them, I downsized them back to a 2, and then I started taping. I think I spent a couple weeks taping until I could actually just fit the 0 gauge tunnels through, so essentially not using the tapers. And I don't like using tapers anymore. I refuse to use the tapers. So once I got to a 0, I don't know if you can tell, but the 00 tapers are fucking massive and really short. I didn't want to use those, so I taped up again. I taped all the way up to a 00 and just put the tunnels through. My least painful stretch was the 00 because I felt 0 pain throughout the whole process. I'm gonna do a mini plug and tunnel collection because I have a lot of tunnels and plugs for my smaller sizes. Basically, my stretching journey was quite boring, and I do want to stretch up my third, as I said, probably to about a 4 gauge or even a 6. I don't want to go big. I just want to be able to wear cute plugs because I hate wearing earrings because they hurt. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's get on to the plug collection.
Extra, extra, extra.